You ever look at a piece of furniture and wonder, how did that actually get made? What does it take to turn a simple plan into something beautiful, something functional? Well, today, that's the story we're going to follow. The journey from a diagram on paper to a handmade object that can bring a little style and order to your home. Okay, so take a look at this. At first glance, yeah, it's a coat rack. But it's so much more, isn't it? This is a really elegant arts and crafts inspired solution to that pile of coats that always ends up on a chair. With that beautiful red oak and those graceful curves, it's just a perfect example of how good craftsmanship can solve a simple problem with a ton of style. And that really brings us to the big question here. How does a stack of plain old wood and a simple diagram actually transform into something you'd be proud to hang on your wall? Let's follow that journey together, step by step, from raw lumber to finished creation. Every great project starts with a solid plan. So our first stop is to deconstruct the design. We're going to break it down into its core pieces to see exactly how this whole thing fits together. This diagram really demystifies the whole thing. What might look kind of complex is, at its heart, made of just three main parts. You've got the top, that's piece A, the two decorative ends, which are B, and that long back piece, C. That's it. When you break it down like this, the entire project suddenly feels way more approachable, right? So every project needs a recipe, and in woodworking, that's our cutting list. This is it. It tells us exactly what we need for our ingredients. One top, two ends, and one back, all cut from that gorgeous red oak to these specific sizes. It's a super simple list for what's going to become our finished coat rack. Okay, so with our parts all planned out and our materials ready to go, we're moving into the heart of the process. This is where the raw boards really begin their transformation. This is where the craftsmanship truly comes to life. And here's where the magic happens. This is where the sawdust flies and the real shape of the project starts to take form. So how do you get those beautiful, distinctive curves on the end pieces? You might think it takes some complicated tool or a crazy formula, but the secret is actually wonderfully simple. It's all laid out on a 1-inch grid. You just transfer the pattern, connect the dots, and bam, you've mapped out that perfect, elegant shape. So clever. The actual build follows a really clear, logical path. First, you cut all the parts to their final size. Second, you shape those signature curves we just talked about. Third, you assemble the main frame using a bit of glue and some screws for strength. And finally, you attach that top shelf. 4 simple steps. This right here, this is such a crucial moment in any build. You've got the clamps holding everything perfectly tight, and the individual boards are being joined together with glue and screws. Suddenly, they're not separate pieces anymore. They're becoming a single, solid structure. This is the moment it actually becomes a coat rack. All right, the structure is complete, but it's not finished, not by a long shot. Next up are the final touches, those little details that are going to give this project its unique character and personality. Applying stain and varnish, this does way more than just protect the wood. It's a totally transformative step. That finish soaks into the grain, and it just makes the natural color and pattern pop. It reveals all the hidden depths and beauty in the red oak. It really brings the wood to life. And finally, the hardware, the jewelry of the piece. On the left, you can see the hooks being installed, but check out the right. The style of hook you choose, whether it's simple and modern or ornate and antique, can completely change the entire feel of the project. This is where you get to inject your own personal taste and make it one of a kind. And with those final details in place, our journey from a pile of wood to a beautiful piece for the wall is complete. Let's take a look at the finished creation. And here it is again. But now when you look at it, you see so much more than just a coat rack, right? You see the simple plan, the 3 core parts, that elegant curve drawn from a simple grid, and the personal choice of hardware. The whole journey is complete, from a blueprint to a functional piece of art for the home. So what's the big takeaway from this little story of craft? Well, it shows us that even complex-looking objects almost always begin with simple shapes. It proves that a clear blueprint is the absolute foundation for creation, and it's a great reminder that craftsmanship is all about transforming materials, and that those personal touches are what make an object truly, uniquely yours. Which leaves us with one last thought. Seeing how a few boards and a good plan can become something so satisfying and useful, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What everyday objects in our own lives could we create ourselves?